think we should talk about maybe like your revenue over the past like year or two. Just kind of walk us through that and how the numbers are like progressing and what you're potentially maybe seeing in the future.
Sure. So 2023, last year, we did 2.3 million on Amazon. And then overall, our business did about 2.55 million, including, a little bit of Walmart sales, eBay sales, ticket sales, 2023. This year, we're on track for Amazon to hit about 2.5, 2.6 million. So not the growth we were really hoping for, but again, our spend really has transitioned from OA, which was the first half of 23. Now we're completely brand direct. So it is kind of different business model. So while the number isn't too impressive for us, or probably didn't hit the goals that we had set in the beginning of the year, we're still pretty pleased with it. And then overall, the business should hit a little under 3 million, including all different channels, Walmart, eBay, etc. And then in the future, again, we're looking to grow into 2025. Hopefully we're above that $4 million mark is what we're shooting for. I think that we have a path to it. But yeah, that's where we're at right now.
E-commerce is the greatest business opportunity of our generation.
What's up, people? We are back in the studio bringing you another episode of the Ecom Unlimited podcast. As always, it is your boy Kaj here with my co-host Josh.
What's going on, everybody?
And today we have on Rahul. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Thank you for giving us your time. I know you're a busy entrepreneur like yourself, so we do appreciate it. And let's dive right in. So tell me about how you got into selling on Amazon.
Yeah, great to be here. First of all, thank you guys so much for having me on. My journey to Amazon was kind of long led. I started reselling back in 2019. I was just doing garage sale flips, doing the whole Gary Vee thing. I was really inspired by him back then. Then I transitioned as I went into college. Actually, my roommate was into reselling, but more on the concert tickets and hype shoes types things. So I was introduced to that back in 2019, did that whole thing, and then COVID hit. When COVID hit, kind of pivoted a little bit into those kind of random resale opportunities that were available at the time. Swimming pools, Nintendo Switches, so stuff like that. Then I got into sports cards a little bit, NFTs a little bit. That was all good. Then my junior year of college, I had an internship, so I basically stopped reselling for that summer, focused on that. Got to experience corporate America for a little bit. I was in consulting, so got to see what that was about. Super cool. I really enjoyed it. But going into my senior year, I kind of wanted to get back into reselling. At that time, I had sold off all of my sports cards, my inventory, my NFTs, and I was kind of cash heavy at that time. And I had always heard about Amazon for the 3 to 4 years of my reselling past at that point. So I kind of just took it seriously. I started watching some YouTube videos, got inspired. It was like, all right, let's figure this out. Jumped into it end of November of 2022. And then from there, just kind of took the ball and ran with it. Had the opportunity to go back to that corporate job. Ended up just kept doing Amazon, and yeah, here we are in 2024, about to be 2025, and still going strong. Yeah.
So just make sure I got that right. So around 2022 is when you really started taking Amazon seriously. Beginning of 2022, end of 2022?
End of 2022. So I made my first sale, I think December 8th or December 9th of 2022.
Okay, so it's really been almost just 2 years.
Yep, exactly. Yep, coming up on it. Yep, this weekend.
And did you go straight into online arbitrage, go to wholesale?
Yeah, good question. So I started with RA. So on my drive back from Miami, I went to Miami, Ohio. It's in Oxford, Ohio, and I live in Columbus, so it's a 2-hour drive back. I hit up the Lululemons in Dayton and then in Columbus, and I'm sure you're familiar with it. The Lululemon bags that were flipping insane. Yep. So went to those malls, stopped by, bought them, and then when I got back home, after a couple of days, I listed them up and just saw the instant sales. And then from there I was hooked. Yeah, FBM. So that morning I was super pumped. Because obviously when you're selling sports cards or anything like that, it's typically higher dollar value, and you're making like 10, 20 sales a day, to going like 80 sales in an hour. You're just like, what is going on, So it started with that. Then the whole winter break, I continued to do RA, was hitting up the Nike outlets. That was super fun. Went with my parents, my girlfriend, to get the extra bodies, if you will, to get the extra units. And yeah, that was awesome. After that, transitioned into OA once I went back to school, because RA is just not feasible, or it can be feasible, but wasn't feasible for my situation. And if I wanted to really scale it, I think, the transition to OA kind of makes sense. So did that for a decent amount of time. Then I went and I took Corey's course, the wholesale course last 2023 in June or July.
The wholesale challenge.
The wholesale challenge, yep. That
Yeah.
week-long program that he has, super great. And I basically saw myself transitioning to that as it's obviously more sustainable. And yeah, from there it's been basically our bread and butter. We don't really do any OA anymore. Right now we are doing OA just for the holidays, but we have transitioned basically 100% of our spend into brand direct as well as wholesale. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, and so you mentioned kind of the difference there between brand direct and wholesale. So I'm just curious, are you still buying from big distributors, or have you built up like a bunch of brands and you're only doing brand direct?
Yeah, so I would say 90% brand direct. The 10% that we buy through distributors, it's kind of a situation where they're maybe in Europe or a different country and they have exclusive, basically distributors or importers that we basically buy through. But right now, I mean, especially with everything that's going on, we want to make sure that all of our spend and all of our inventory is kind of protected in a sense. Not to say that it's going to be guaranteed. I mean, even if you're working brand direct, you never know what could happen. But at least we have some contact. Right. The risk is lower. I mean, your foot's already in the door. You have an email contact that recognizes your email. If anything kind of goes wrong, it's the first person you can contact right away and hopefully get a response, within 24, 48 hours.
Love it. Yep. And we're big on the brand direct side of things too. That's the direction we're pushing as well and have been for a little bit. Are you doing any additional services for those brands? Like, are you fixing up listings, running PPC, or are you just buying and reselling?
Yeah, so we have a couple brands that we're starting to do that with. It's something that we're starting to learn. One of my employees, he's located in the Philippines, and he's a killer on the marketing side of stuff. He just knows aesthetics, which is great because that's something that I have no idea how to do. I know it looks good, but I don't know how to get there. But he does a phenomenal job of building up listings. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I've dived into Canva a few times just to see if I can help out, but I don't do much. I usually screw things up, so I try to let him do it. But yeah, that's something we definitely offer. We landed our first exclusive about a month and a half back, so we're super pumped about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. And we're just trying to work towards more of that, right? So that's the end goal. We do have a couple companies we actually only do agency work for, only server side work for, which is interesting. That's great. It's something that's definitely sharpened our skill set, if you will. If we get those reps in, understanding timelines too, because most of these companies want an idea of when things are going to get done, when things are going to get implemented, and it's been a good process to learn that.
Love it.
Very interesting. Now, I think we should talk about maybe your revenue over the past year or two. Just kind of walk us through that and how the numbers are progressing and what you're potentially maybe seeing in the future.
Sure. So 2023, last year, we did 2.3 million on Amazon. And then overall, our business did about 2.55 million, including, a little bit of Walmart sales, eBay sales, ticket sales in 2023. This year, we're on track for Amazon to hit about 2.5, 2.6 million. So not the growth we were really hoping for, but again, our spend really has transitioned from OA, which was the first half of 23. Now we're completely brand direct. So it is kind of a different business model. So while the number isn't too impressive for us, or probably didn't hit the goals that we had set in the beginning of the year, we're still pretty pleased with it. And then overall, the business should hit a little under 3 million, including all different channels, Walmart, eBay, etc. And then in the future, again, we're looking to grow into 2025. Hopefully, we're above that $4 million mark is what we're shooting for. I think that we have a path to it. But yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Did you see your the difference between obviously it's you didn't hit your goals getting to that 3 or 4 million? Have you seen profitability improve and all that kind of stuff because you're selling a little bit more wholesale or selling a little bit more brand direct?
Yeah, I would say yes. Our profit our overall net margin has increased, which is great. The other nice thing is it's a little bit more systemized. I mean, I don't really source a whole lot anymore. We have our 80, 90 SKUs that we have in stock, and obviously some dip below the profitability line. So those are, products we don't order, but it's not as much as finding new products to buy every day. It's more finding new brands to work with, and they already have their existing catalog, right? There things that we pitch or things that we offer is, hey, let's bring in your new SKUs, let's do bundling, etc. But it's not as much finding the next flip. So in terms of sustainability as well is something we've seen an improvement, even though the revenue is kind of similar to 23.
Nice. That's really cool. Now, kind of Kaja was talking about other services that you provide to these companies. Kind of go into that a little bit. We know you update listings, run PPC potentially. Are there any sort of campaigns, and we can dive into more of like the PPC side? Do you like specialize in that, or do you run just auto campaigns? Like, how do you kind of go about running PPC campaigns?
Yeah, great question. So we do run auto campaigns, but when we're working directly with the brand and when we're kind of asked to or have permission to, basically when it makes sense, we do run campaigns. We do it through a software called Data Dive. So shout out to them. No affiliate link, unfortunately, but great company. They help us analyze the keywords that are obviously going to be relevant, but that also have good search volume. And then they have a really cool tool called the Rank Radar, which is once we implement our PPC, typically a few days before we implement it, we throw it into that. And what it does is it also tracks your organic rank on the specific keywords for the ASIN that you're targeting or ASINs that you're targeting. And then from there, once you implement your PPC, you can also track, how well your organic rank is improving. Because one of the things that I've learned is PPC is, when I think of ads, I think, okay, we spend money, we make sales, but there is another layer to it. You can actually improve the organic rank significantly by running paid ads. So that's a great tool to do basically just what I said. And that's kind of how we manage it. And we're able to also download that into CSV and provide that to companies and show, okay, this is what we spent. It's also a great tool to, like I just said, it's a great tool to show them too that we're measuring our success. We're spending, $5,000-$6,000 in ads this month just for your brand. So yeah, that's how we do it.
Very nice. Very nice.
And
Todd, you got any questions?
With the because you briefly mentioned that there's some brands where you just do agency stuff for, which is that's intriguing to me because we're also thinking of doing that as well. So sure. With those brands, is it just PPC management or is it more so the listing creation?
So we have not had any agency work that's PPC related. It's actually just been listing, updating, A+ content creation, so more on the marketing material creation. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think that's something that we could do as well.
Yeah.
How's that been with the deliverables? Because you mentioned, they want like a timeline and what that.
Sure.
Have you been able to get that turnaround time pretty quick, or is that something that your team? Because it sounds like your internal team really knows what they're doing with that. So is that something that the process takes a while, or?
Yeah. So like I mentioned, once we've gone through it a few more times, it's been a little bit easier to give a company a roadmap. Being okay, first week we're gonna have this for you. Second week we're gonna have this. Third week, project end, whatever it might be. But we have been able to hit it a little bit more now. A big part of client-facing work is basically not only managing your team, but you're going to have to manage their team. So what you want to really understand before you give a timeline or before you give a roadmap is, okay, this company, they usually respond to me after 2 days, and there's 3 contacts, and they're all telling us 4 different things in each email. Maybe we should make our timeline 2 times as long, right? Allow a little bit more time for revisions, a little bit more time for communication, etc. So you want to kind of bake that in. We've definitely had experiences where we'll jump on a team call and there's literally 5 people and one person likes this, the other person likes this. So just learning how to manage all that has been an experience. So in the beginning, we definitely did not hit our timetables or timelines rather, but now we've been a lot better with it. And a tip, if you guys are looking to get into it, it seems like you guys are already doing it, would be, once you have one successful listing created, using that as a template has been huge for us, right? If you know that they like this style, not only is that advantageous to meet the timeline, but it's also advantageous for the brand in terms of all their listings are going to look unison. They're going to look like they came from the brand rather than just a random reseller updating the listing. But yeah, that's how we've been managing those.
Awesome. Love that. And what does your team look like right now? So you said you have one virtual assistant, remote employee. Is it just you and him, or you got a couple more?
We have 3 virtual employees. All 3 of them are located in the Philippines, and then I do have a warehouse. So in the warehouse, we have 2 full-time prep and packers, and then girlfriend and mom and dad team help on the weekends. So
love it.
Official team would be 5 excluding me. Unofficial would be
Okay.
8 excluding me. Yeah.
How often do you get in the warehouse in the prep line?
I love it. I mean, honestly, I'll pop out for like half an hour of the day just to see what things are going on. I love seeing the product. That's the one thing I missed about when I was doing the prep center stuff. I love seeing the pallets come in and shipments going out. I drive a forklift too, so whenever there's a delivery or pickup, I'm always out there. And then Saturdays is a prep day for me, so I'm prepping with my family, and it's nice. I mean, I don't get to see my family that often, once or twice a week, which I more often than probably most people, but it's really nice to spend time with them, and we kind of make the best of it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. I was just getting a shipment out earlier this morning, and it's funny because this year we've moved much more to most of our inventory being 3PL, but there is something satisfying about just getting the final piece of tape on the box, throwing the FBA and the UPS label on there. Yeah, so I don't mind getting in there too.
Sure.
And why did you decide to go in-house warehouse versus prep center?
Yeah, probably 2 or 3 reasons. One reason was, again, our spend was transitioning from OA to brand direct wholesale. So that takes away the tax advantage of using the 3PL. When we're using a 3PL in New Jersey, right, there's a 7.5% difference from Ohio. So it makes no sense to do OA, in my opinion, in-house when you have an sales tax thing. So first thing was that. Second thing was leakage. No fault at all to the prep center that I was using, but it's just a little bit harder to manage in terms of making sure that, okay, we got 4,000 units of this. Did we, even if 3 or 4 are broken, we should be submitting claims, right? Like that's money that's left on the table. The supplier should know. They should either send extra the next time, whatever. So things like that. And then the third reason is probably just like overall cost. It kind of goes in with the sales tax thing, but a lot of our products are under that $20 mark. So paying $1, right? That's 5% on a $20 product. When we do the math in terms of, okay, we got our lease, we have our forklift lease, we have et cetera, payroll, it still comes out to about 40% of what we were paying. We were paying the prep center, so about 40 cents a unit. And then also, if you factor, I guess the fourth reason would be returns. So before I was just having my returns come to my parents' house, it was in the garage. They were sick of it. I was sick of it. I was never listing it because, I don't know, the garage is cold or it's hot, right? It's never perfect. And it's like the last thing you want to do. But when it's in the warehouse, I mean, you see it every day. We have our own like little eBay station. And honestly, those returns, it like dang near covers our rent, So it's pretty advantageous to handle that stuff.
Got it. Makes sense. Yeah. And we have sold, I don't even know what we're at on eBay for the year. It's not a lot, but eBay, it mitigates that return expense.
It really does.
So much. Yeah. That's huge. That's huge. All right. Well, transitioning topics a little bit here. I did want to talk about Sellify for sure, but before we get there, tell the people about the award you got for the fastest growing business. I think that's so cool. I saw that on LinkedIn. Wanted to give you an opportunity to share.
No, appreciate that, and yeah, thanks for recognizing it. We had won a local award here in Columbus, Ohio, for the fastest privately owned business in the local area. So what they do is, as long as you're at $1 million in sales and you have 3 years of tax returns, they basically compile your growth rate based on your tax returns, and then they basically rank you. So we got 4th overall, and then we got 1st in our category, which was people that were between $1 million and $2.5 million, which we fell under last year after gross receipts, because we were like 2.55 in rev, and then after returns was like 2.3, whatever. But that's what we won. So it was super cool to get recognized, and hopefully we'll win it again next year. So.
Yeah, it's like a local competition essentially that you have to enter into.
Exactly. It's a local thing. It's through Business First. I think Business First is national, but then each city, there's the Pittsburgh Business First and the Columbus Business First. So each city probably has it. Each, metro, I mean, I don't know if Columbus is metro, but metropolitan city will have it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's nice to throw it up on the website. We'll throw it up there soon, and in our email signature.
Most definitely.
It's just validation. So yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's super cool. And I think a takeaway there for people can be is just do more local networking stuff. And that's actually something that's on my agenda for 2025 too. Just I've been made aware of like different local business networking things, or whether it's like officially through the state or the city or whatever, but just getting involved with, people in your area. There's so much opportunity there.
Agreed. No, well said.
All right, tell us about Sellify.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. Sellify. So Sellify is a tool for Walmart sellers. When I started selling on Walmart end of 2023, was kind of looking for something just so I could basically, guess my fees or understand my fees. And there really wasn't any tool, or accurate tool rather, available. So me and my buddy, my roommate from college, we actually said, hey, this is a decent opportunity. Let's make something, available to the public. So we dove into the software game. Both of us were in finance for college, so we had no idea, how to code or any of that stuff or what it entails, and it's crazy. It's way different. There are things that are similar in terms of like reselling versus building a software business. There's things that are similar, but I mean mostly everything is pretty different. But yeah, Sellify, it's a great tool. Basically, we like to call ourselves basically the SellerAmp of Walmart. We're getting to that status, I hope. At its core, it's a profitability analysis tool. You can basically plug in your cost or sale price and understand exactly, where you're going to stand. But obviously, we're adding on to that, right? Competitive analysis, seasonality. We have a couple other things in the pipeline that we're building out to help forecast demand, because that's probably the biggest thing is people want to know estimated sales. So we're building things out for that. But it's been helpful, obviously, for my business and the other businesses that we support.
So how do you? Oh, Josh, you got it.
No, go ahead. You're good. I think your question's gonna be more on topic.
Because I know one of the issues with Walmart is just the API is not quite as advanced as Amazon, so it doesn't give tools as much data. So how have you gone about like overcoming those challenges, and specifically around the estimating sales? Because I know that was one of the biggest things that sellers want. That was data Walmart was not giving.
Sure. So I'll break that kind of into two parts. So first, the data side of it, you're 100% right. The APIs that they have, while they are great, do lack some of the data that we're used to as Amazon sellers, right? We're used to having basically every single data point that we would want, versus Walmart, they're still sort of building that out. It's not as public, etc. So we do have some pretty cool algorithms in place that kind of support and aid when data is missing. To just give you a quick example, let's say a product doesn't have any dimension data from Walmart. What we do is we go and try to search and find that product on Amazon, and then we plug in the dimensions to basically save you a couple steps, right? Then you have to go find the dimensions, plug it in, or even guess the fees. That would be, worst case scenario. As you guys know, 10-15% difference on your fees, and it's kind of, it's make or break sometimes. So that's one thing we do. We try to fill in data when we can. The other thing is also talk about our referral fees being 100% accurate. We stand by it. And that's something that, again, it's not 100% given to us. So we definitely had to do some legwork to make sure that every single fee is correct. But that's what we did. Second part of that, the monthly sales estimator, that's something that's not publicly released by us yet. A lot of companies are kind of using other algorithms to get it, such as using verified reviews. And while we do display verified reviews meaning when a customer leaves a review on the Walmart page, it can either be verified or it can be from a third-party source. So some companies are using that, doing some sort of multiplication and making some sales data off that. What we want to do is be a little bit more accurate. So we're in the process of data collection and tracking products over time. And once that is to a point that makes sense for us to release it, we want to release it and try to be as accurate as possible.
Got it. Okay. So your plan, at least until Walmart gives some sort of accurate sales data, is tracking the actual sales of products for whatever your time period is, 3 months, 6 months, whatever. And then after you have that historical data, then using that to then extrapolate.
Exactly. There's going to be a little bit more, special sauce in there to make it as accurate as possible, but that's exactly the game plan. And we are in talks with Walmart right now to connect to their, connect to some additional APIs and become an official solutions provider, which could open the door for us, providing suggestions and showing them a little bit about what Amazon does and maybe, suggesting some change to some execs, and hopefully we can, implement some change there.
Did you go to the big Walmart conference that they had recently?
No, we didn't. So because me and my business partner, we did not. We will be there next year. We had my partner had some business travel plan, or rather personal travel plans during that period, so we couldn't make it.
Gotcha.
How long did it take you guys to build this out?
Yeah, so we started in February, and we released in August. So 6 months build.
Wow.
A lot of stuff goes into it.
I'm sure.
And right now we're pumping out features as fast as we can. I mean, it's super validating and really nice to hear from users because obviously those first 6 months, I mean, we have our own experience. We're veteran sellers in a sense, so we know what we like and what works. But obviously, when you have X amount of users come in and say that this is broken or we want this, or it's super helpful. We've been able to pump out features a lot quicker now. Yeah.
Maybe we'll kind of same topics of Walmart, but when you work with like brands and you usually list them on Amazon and Walmart?
Good question. So some brands, yes, some brands, no. We do work with some more premier brands where it really doesn't make sense to list their $180 shampoo bottle, right? It's not going to maybe not make as much sense on Walmart, and they maybe don't even want to be on Walmart, right? Walmart has a little bit of a stagnation of being more of a discount store, rightfully so. They have good prices, in store. So some brands want us to stay off of it. We obviously abide by that. So it's kind of brand specific, but we do pitch it. We definitely say, hey, we're 90% on Amazon, but we do have a little bit of focus on Walmart just to see if there's any interest, right? Sometimes they light up and then we, sit up a little bit and start talking about it more. But if they're kind of like, that's cool, but not really for us, then we don't push it too hard.
Gotcha. Do you usually see, like, obviously less sales on Walmart than Amazon? Do you see like a trend, like a 10th or like a 5th of sales? Like do you see any trends there?
Yeah, there are. There usually is, like you said, we typically see like a 1/8 split, or like 1/8 ratio rather, from Walmart to Amazon. But it really is brand specific. Like I mentioned, we have been doing some OA right now, and we started doing Legos again, and those have just been flying. Some can also check is if you're an Amazon seller, sometimes the buy box is suppressed on Amazon, and we'll see like Amazon buy box suppression goes down, and then Walmart sales just like rip, like the next like day or two, just like instantly. Sense. And then obviously when Amazon kind of comes back on or whatever, then they slow down a little bit. So there is kind of those ebbs and flows. We do show those metrics, like is Amazon suppressed, Amazon sales data on Sellify for Walmart sellers, cool. Which can be helpful. Yeah.
All right. Very cool. Very nice.
And so on Walmart, you're doing some brand direct stuff and also just flipping as well?
Correct. Yeah. So we got gated on Lego, not this recent gate, about 2 or 3 months ago. So we weren't selling enough Lego on Amazon, so they shut us down. So we only really have a couple avenues left for Lego. So that's going on Walmart.
Gotcha. Okay. And back to Sellify.
Mm-hmm.
So did you guys like hire engineers? Did you just learn coding by night and do it yourself? I'm curious.
Yeah, great question. So my business partner, Luke, he's a lot more open to learning it, and he gets in it. He reads the code and provides suggestions where he can. But me personally, I'm not a fan of it. I just like the business outcome of it. So no, we don't code, or we don't suggest code or anything like that. We have a full team of engineers now. We're up to, I think, 4 basically full-time engineers, wow. And then 1 that kind of does design here and there. She's great. Okay. But we have a full team and got the Slack channel pumping every day, and yes, we're a full team now.
Okay, and so zooming out a little bit from the difference between an inventory-based business and a SaaS business.
Yeah.
So you've spent 6 months of time, right, on the upfront, building it out, spending on payroll, spending on dev, all that stuff, which almost would be, I guess, if you're looking at like an Amazon comparison, would be more similar to like a private label brand, where you've got to put in effort to do the research, find the product, make the samples, spend a lot of money in advertising before you're profitable. And if this is information you don't want to disclose, that's also okay. We can clip it. But have you reached like a break-even point yet for that business in terms of how many signups you've gotten? Like, do you have a projection for when you'll be profitable and be in the green?
Sure. On our overall investment, we still are in the red, but on a monthly basis, we're basically at that break-even metric now. So we're approaching, cash flow positive, but we'll probably still be in the red for just a little bit, right? Because that 6 months, like you mentioned, right, we have expenses. So still catching up on that, but hopefully a couple more signups and we'll be there, right? So.
Okay, sick. And when was your first sign up for the software?
I think it was in the middle of August. That's when we officially launched.
Not long ago.
Not long ago. No, we've been growing at a really good pace. I mean, totally terrible what's going on with Amazon, but obviously that naturally has benefited us, right? I mean,
sure.
Hate it for people, but it is kind of a wake up call for people, and restricted or not restricted, I think Walmart's a good secondary platform, and then it could be a primary platform, right? If you were heavy on some brands that unfortunately you can't move elsewhere, I mean that's probably the next best place to go. So.
Got it. Okay. And so what's the long-term goal with Sellify? Are you like looking for an exit, or you just want to have a cash flow pumping machine? I
mean, 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line, sure, an exit. We are pretty long-term thinking with it. We actually were approached by a company a little bit, I think it was in September, just from interest. Like they wanted to talk to us. We probably wouldn't have made any money on whatever they would have offered, but we didn't entertain it. We're super long term. We want to potentially even grow into Amazon so that you're sourcing, you're an OA sourcer, wholesale sourcer. You're sourcing on one platform, one tool. That's probably our long term vision, right? But we want to be the go to for Walmart, not only for sourcing, but we're introducing potentially running ads, full campaign manager. Directly through our platform. So A to Z, if you will, or W to M, whatever. That was a bad comparison, not A to Z, but the whole 9 yards. There we go. The whole 9 yards for Walmart. Ads, inventory, shipment, P&L, sourcing. We want to be the go-to. Yeah.
Love that. All right,
And
I was just gonna say, give a hard plug for Sellify. Where can people go get a free trial or whatever?
Awesome, man. Thanks for that. You can visit sellify.app/sign up and then use code CAJ, CAJ, sorry, for a free month.
All right, sick.
Nice. Are you guys running any like Black Friday, Christmas deals or anything?
We did. One just ended on the 2nd. We are raising our prices. Just a heads up for people. We do have a mobile app coming up, but you can lock in your normal price right now. Be locked in for at least a year. So,
cool.
Yeah, hard sell there. But
awesome. All right. Yeah. Well, the link will be in the description.
Perfect.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Rahul, where can people go buy on the internet?
Yeah. So I'm mainly active on Twitter. My handle is Rahul. FBA, so RAHUL FBA on Twitter, or X rather. You can find me there.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming on here and chopping it up with us, guys. If you found value 50. In this episode, is this number 50?
Wow.
This is 50.
That's crazy, guys. Subscribe. Come on, we're on number 50. What are you guys doing? All right. If you listen to this, you gotta subscribe to stay updated on all of our new content, and we will see you on the next one.